She thinks that it's unnecessary to be weighed for sleep apnea, even though a lot of people with obesity suffer from sleep apnea. Actually, let's do a quick sleep apnea search. Good morrow, everybody. My name is Robin, also known as Sunny Side Up Gal, and you are my Sunny Side Up pal. Hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome to me, to my channel. Welcome. If you are new here, hi, especially welcome to you. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already and you are like,
wow, I'm getting vibes, let me go ahead and subscribe.
Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and like the video now because I know you're gonna like the video. Okay. If you are not new here and you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning and supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. I'm having so much fun making YouTube videos for y'all. I'm doing a little bit of growth and growing, and I like it a lot. We like to grow a little, a little faster, a little bigger, but good things come to those who wait. And I'm okay waiting. I'm okay waiting. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm having so much fun. What do you guys think about the new lighting? We have a camera lighting set that I dug out of our little storage closet. I don't know if there's even a difference. Michael, if you're in the audience, let me know if you see a difference. He's always telling me that I need to get more lighting. At the time of me filming, it is 4:45 in the AM. It is Monday morning. Yesterday was Easter. So if you celebrated Easter, happy Easter. If you don't, I hope you had a great weekend. No, we're just going to jump into things. Today's episode is going to be about a particular creator who I actually saved her video or her post, I feel like a month ago, maybe. And I was like, ooh, I need to cover her. And I feel like I got a little bit insecure because she seems well educated. She's well spoken. And I'm a dumbass. And I'm just a regular person who didn't go to college and who can barely read. But that doesn't mean that I can't have an opinion. That doesn't mean I can't, entertain you guys while we talk about her. And it's not necessarily about her, but more of the things that she's sharing and why I don't like her. So let's jump into it and let's get started. Her name is Virginia Soul Smith. Whoever I talk about on the channel, don't go to their page and talk shit to them. And if you do talk shit to them, don't tell them that I sent you, because I didn't. Don't bully people online. We're not here to bully. We're here to call out misbehavior and call out misinformation. I don't really want to be a bullier. I don't think that calling out misinformation is bullying. Also, I have a little bit of discoloration on my lip. My lips have been super chapped, and then yesterday when I was wiping my face, I scratched it or it split, but now it's bruised. I don't know. Maybe you don't notice or you don't care. But anyway, I don't want to bully people. I want to just be here to be a person to entertain you while we call out misinformation, and maybe I can teach you a little bit, okay? We don't bully people. Whatever their choice, right? Maybe I will bully people if if it's really bad. If they're really, really, if I feel like they're doing evil things, right? Okay, let's see here. Okay. So this is her page, her Pakina. Her name, again, Virginia Soul. She's got 49,000 followers. I feel like when I first found her, maybe a few months ago, she didn't have that many. I feel like she's growing. Maybe she's posting more. Here's her profile page. So she has a podcast. I think her podcast is called Burnt Toast. Yeah, Burnt Toast. Burnt Toast. Now on Patreon. She kind of reminds me, there's this pro-life creator in the realm of, the world, and she reminds me a lot of her. Except now that chick's on, I think, a GLP-1 and has lost a ton of weight. But she just the same, they're like the same person, but in a different font and with different activism, moments. All right, so I picked out a few videos of hers and maybe a couple or one carousel to kind of read through. So this is gonna be a nice little tasty and long, bit of YouTube video for you. This is gonna be a longer video, I think. Yeah, I have plenty of time. I'm already kind of ready. I do need to jump in the shower after this. Wash the butt. So the first video that I wanted to show. All right, so the caption says, after a year of waiting, I'm finally sleeping through the night without gasping for air. And I don't need to lose weight. I just needed this stylish CPAP. I've been reporting on my adventures in sleep apnea over on Burnt Toast, which is her podcast. And today's installment answers the big question: do you need to lose weight to treat sleep apnea? And
You do.
we get into what the research says on Zepbound and more. Okay, so she's highly against GLP-1. She's clearly a fat activist. She's clearly into staying fat and not losing weight. So what does that tell you about her? She likes to eat. All right, so if you're just listening, she is the beginning of this video is her with a CPAP on. If you're not familiar with what a CPAP is, I will put the definition as a I'll pop the definition up on here, but it is a machine that you put onto your face and it allows you to sleep throughout the night. And I used to think that it was something like providing oxygen to you, but I think it's more about throwing pressure down your throat basically, because when you have sleep apnea, like I think it's like some kind of pressure or some kind of like weight on your diaphragm or on your throat, something that causes your throat to close up or maybe just like causes you to stop breathing. A lot of the times it's pretty common in people who are obese, but I've known people who have sleep apnea who are not obese. Both of my brothers had it when they were not obese. What do you do when you're not obese and you have sleep apnea? You can get a CPAP like this, or I think you can get your tonsils removed. So my oldest brother got his tonsils removed and he lived. My younger brother, well, he was my middle brother. He got his tonsils and adenoids removed, and then a couple days later he died.
He's dead!
So I'm not saying that he died from that. It was complications from that, but it is actually more dangerous for you to get that kind of surgery like when you're older. Like it's a good surgery to get when you're like a kid. But both of my brothers got it when they were my brother Troy was 17 and my other brother was like 21 when he got it. Maybe 21, 25. Doesn't matter. Yeah, sleep apnea. It's a weird one. I don't really know a ton about it. I just know that those are the options for you. And then I feel like I had sleep apnea for a moment, but I was like, when I thought I had sleep apnea, I was also on shrugs. And maybe I was just not breathing because of the shrugs. Oh, I'm funny. No, I'm not. Okay, so it just has music. It says, "Doctor, you need to lose weight." And she's got this big ass CPAP medication or machine on her face. There's nothing else. That's it. She just did a peace sign. So she's against losing weight. There's a follow-up carousel. Now let's look at the follow-up carousel. All right, follow-up carousel. The caption says, "And M dash." You guys know, if you don't know how I feel about M dashes, I feel like M dashes are indicative of using ChatGPT because no real person who is not a professional writer using their phone is using an M dash on an everyday basis. If you are using your phone and use M dashes regularly, good for you. I think a couple people yelled at me like the last time I said this. Good for you. I'm happy for you if you know how to figure out how to put an M dash in on your cell phone. But most of the times, most people do not know how to do it. And then if you're using your computer to add an M dash, you have to use like a fancy key. I think it's like Alt 15 or something like that. Control Alt 151 or 15151 or something like that. When I see M dashes, it's automatically ChatGPT. Which, okay, whatever, if you need to use ChatGPT. Okay. Okay, Virginia. Ooh, another Virginia. There's Virgie Tovar, and now there's Virgie Soul-Smith. Okay. Okay. Giving a bad names to Virginias out there. If your name is Virginia, what's your BMI? Weight loss. So, and M dash weight loss always brings its own set of complicating factors and potential side effects. For study citations and way more details on all of this, read my 4-part series, The Sleep Apnea Diaries on Burnt Toast. Is Burnt Toast the podcast or is it her blog? We need to figure it out. HelloBurntToast.com. Read Burnt Toast. Listen. Okay, so it's both a Burnt Toast blog and a Burnt Toast podcast. And I feel like maybe one day I need to do a Burnt Toast episode, but her website posts. You have to pay $4 to read the Sleep Apnea Diaries. My fat neck. God, now I really want to read it. Let me show you why. It says on here, my neurologist referred me to her colleague, Dr. K, who handles sleep disorders back in March, but it took until early September to get an appointment. In other words, I spent 6 more months possibly not breathing in my sleep as usual, loving American healthcare. As Dr. K's office, a nurse showed me to an exam room and asked me to get on the scale. I declined to be weighed, as I almost always do. She paused, then nodded and moved on to the question. When Doctor came in, she was warm and straightforward, but immediately asked, "Why do you not want to be weighed?" They don't want to be weighed because they don't want They don't want anything to blame. They don't want their weight to be blamed for their issues because that would mean that they'd have to like give up on food. That is my opinion. I'm not saying that this is her case. I'm not sure if she has an addiction to food. This is just my belief. But most of the times when fat activists, they 100% deny that weight could ever have anything to do with negative health markers in your body. So she thinks that she thinks that it's unnecessary to be weighed for sleep apnea, even though a lot of people with obesity suffer from sleep apnea. Actually, let's do a quick sleep apnea search. Sleep apnea and obesity. Obesity is the primary risk factor for obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, with roughly 60 to 70% of OSA patients being obese. Excess fat, particularly around the neck and abdomen, narrows the airway and reduces lung volume, leading to airway collapse during sleep. A 10% weight gain increase OSA risks sixfold, while weight loss significantly reduces severity. Physical obstruction, fat deposits around the neck and upper airway decrease the space for breathing. Oh, terrifying. It's like you're literally suffocating yourself with fat. Okay, yeah, so CPAP, continuous positive airway pressure, is the standard treatment to keep the airway open during sleep. So basically, it just like pumps air down your throat. Weight loss. And then other considerations, not exclusive to obesity, while strongly linked, people with normal weight can have OSA due to structural issues such as a narrow airway or enlarged tonsils. That's why my brothers had it. Enlarged tonsils. Gender differences. OSA is often underrecognized in women, though it is highly prevalent in both sexes with obesity. Sleep Foundation provides detailed. Okay, no. So she's an outlier. She doesn't believe that being obese is causing her sleep apnea. Now let's read her carousel. Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay, so this is the picture again of her with the CPAP on. First of all, I'm not even trying to be mean. If I had to sleep with one of those on, I'd be like, when's the next, day I can get my surgery to lose weight, because I cannot sleep like this. I can't. I would not be able to sleep like that. Plus, you're going to be like you get lines on your face. Sometimes it slips off. You dry your eye out cuz it's been blowing air into your eye. I could not. And my dad's sleep, I know that that was like almost 20 years ago, but my dad's CPAP machine was so fucking loud. You could hear it through the wall. He couldn't keep up with it because my stepmom wasn't getting any sleep, and it's not a comfortable way to sleep. I think some people are like, this is great. I'm getting great sleep. Yeah, that's great. You're getting great sleep, but you could totally prevent sleeping with this thing on your face if you lost a little bit of weight. Why would you, like, you wouldn't think I've got to pay for this machine when it's free to lose weight. I don't know why I'm picking I don't know what the watch has to do with it, but it's free to lose weight. It is free to lose weight. People are like, no, it's not free to lose weight. You need to like pay more for food or for fancy food, blah, 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 blah. You can just eat less and you're going to save a little bit of money. Not telling you to starve. That's ridiculous. Don't do that. We do not condone bad behaviors like that. We don't condone people hurting themselves. What I'm saying is the United States has a problem with overeating. We have a huge issue with overeating. We are overeating. We're eating. Our portion sizes are too big and we are eating way too often. I look at this. If my doctor was like, Robin, if you don't lose 20 pounds in the next 6 months, you're gonna have to wear one of these to sleep. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do it. What can you give me? Give me something. Help me out here. All right. So it says right here, POV, you have sleep apnea. Here's why you don't need to lose weight. And then it's going to be a bunch of bullshit because I've already read this, but let's go over it. Weight gain, especially neck circumference, can contribute to OSA, but it's not the only cause. Wouldn't you think that that's the cause for you? You are big.
No, you are fat.
You are a big gal.
We already know that.
We know this because thin people also get it. So we just looked it up. Thin people get it because of like obstructive things in their throat. So they've got maybe like a growth, oversized tonsils and adenoids, that. There are studies, and she doesn't even bring that up. That's crazy. There are studies showing weight loss improves OSA. Yes, okay, great. But weight loss research doesn't clarify if it's actually being smaller that helps, or the fact that subjects started exercising as a part of their weight loss protocol.
Are you fucking dumb?
So then why won't you do it? If that's your thing, if you're like, it doesn't say if if you have to be smaller, or if it's just the exercise. Okay, so try it. Try both. Why don't you start exercising? I doubt she is. Part of sometimes the fat acceptance movement in the fat liberation movement just like bother the crap out of me because they'll be like, well, thin people get this and blah 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 blah. And then they nitpick through studies. Well, it doesn't really say if it's being smaller or if it's because that they exercise. And it's like, why wouldn't you just try? Honestly, I think because I'm no longer like in that like graphically Alex would say, the TR. Like I'm no longer in that state of like panic when it comes to like me losing the ability to eat whatever the hell I want. Like that being like a point of panic for me, that I'm like, why isn't this like, why isn't it clocking with you that this is super easy to do?
It's not clocking to you.
Like you wouldn't have to wear a CPAP or like stop breathing in the middle of the night if you just like lost a little bit of weight.
It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
But I understand like some people that is panic inducing for some people. So, okay, we'll be a little bit nicer. Other studies show how exercise helps even if you don't lose weight. Okay, but are you exercising? And my guess is no. In the study, Zepbound and Sleep Apnea, the patients with the best outcomes were taking Zepbound, restricting calories, exercising, and using their CPAPs. So, how much credit can Zepbound really take? Now I want to go into the Zepbound thing. Okay, so recently Zepbound has been approved for medication for obstructive sleep apnea. Let's read this. I'm just going to I'm just going to flip through and not really like, we're just going to SQ3R it, you guys, okay? All right, FDA approves first medication for obstructive sleep apnea. Today's approval marks the first drug treatment option for certain patients with obstructive sleep apnea. This is a major step towards patients with obstructive sleep apnea. I'm just going to say OSA. OSA occurs when a person's upper airway becomes blocked, causing pauses in breathing during sleep. It's fucking scary. If you guys have never been around somebody who has sleep apnea, they literally do stop breathing. They're like, it's like like that. It's fucking scary. It's fucking, and they don't wake up. It's just like that. It's like gasping for air all night. And some signs that you have OSA is like if you get like a full night of sleep, you're still like exhausted, and that could be hormonal as well. It could be like your thyroid. But if you know for sure this person is not breathing in the middle of the night, they're never hitting REM sleep, and every time that they're gasping for air, like their body kind of wakes up. So it's kind of like they're only getting 20 minutes of sleep basically throughout the night. Like it's fucking scary. While OSA can affect anyone, it's more common with people who have overweight. Who wrote this? While OSA can affect anyone, it is more common in people who have overweight or obesity. Okay, somebody fix that. That's not right? Okay. Zepbound works by activating receptors of hormones secreted from the intestine. Okay, we know how GLP-1s work. By reducing weight, studies show that Zepbound also improves OSA. So it's really weird that Zepbound's the only one that's been approved for OSA. How do you do that? How do you get that approval? Who do you have to know to be like, hey, can you add OSA to like our treatment options so that people with OSA can get Zepbound instead of just like regularly just like GLP-1s in general? If Zepbound gets OSA on their treatment list, why aren't all the other GLP-1s on that or get that? All right, Zepbound's approval for moderate to severe OSA in adults with obesity is based on 2 randomized double-blind placebo-controlled studies of 469 adults without type 2 diabetes. That's interesting. One study enrolled participants using positive airway pressure. Okay, one study had the PAP, the PAP, the CPAP machine, the standard of care for moderate to severe OSA, and one study enrolled participants unable or unwilling to use PAP. In both studies, participants randomly received either 10 or 15 milligrams of Zepbound or placebo once weekly for 52 weeks. That's a year. The primary measure of efficacy was the change from baseline in the apnea-hypopnea index, a measurement of how many times the person stops sleeping or breathing or breathes shallowly per hour during sleep at week 52. After 52 weeks of treatment in both studies, participants who received Zepbound experienced a statistically significant and clinically meaningful reduction in patients of apnea or hypopnea as measured by AHI, compared to placebo, and greater proportions of participants treated with Zepbound achieved remission or mild OSA with resolution of symptoms compared to placebo. Participants treated with Zepbound had a significant decrease in body weight compared to placebo at 52 weeks. The improvement in AHI in participants with OSA is likely related to body weight reduction with Zepbound. Okay, let's go back to her page. Okay, so she says in her carousel, in the study on Zepbound and sleep apnea, the patients with the best outcomes were taking Zepbound, restricting calories, exercising, and using their CPAP. So how much credit can Zepbound really take? Well, like we just read in the other article, Zepbound was still effective on people who they did two controls. So they did one with CPAP and one without the CPAP, and it was still, positive reaction to Zepbound on OSA. So I'm not sure where. I wish she would have put like maybe a link. All right, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine frames weight loss as an add-on treatment. If you have moderate to severe OSA, it won't replace your CPAP. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. As an add-on treatment, so like that means that you can use the CPAP and try to lose weight. Eventually, if you lose enough weight and you remove the obstruction, which is the pressure from the fatness of your neck, you probably won't need to use your CPAP, because what does the CPAP do? It adds pressure down your fucking gullet. Okay, Burnt Toast now on Patreon. Get the full story. Okay, so that was my introduction to her. Like we've seen with most of the fat activists, they use a lot of these logical fallacies, and this very, very common one is appeal to ignorance, I think. So like she claims, well, it's not 100%, this isn't really, it doesn't really show that weight loss is 100%, the cure for OSA. So it means that you don't ever have to do it. Don't even try, basically. If I'm reading, if my understanding of, logical fallacies is correct, I've been trying to like improve my vocabulary and learn a little bit while I also teach you guys. So if I'm wrong, let me know if I'm wrong. If I'm right, let me know I'm right. But yes, so she's claiming because it's not 100% proof, because nobody on paper said 100% if you lose weight, you're going to cure your OSA and you won't need your CPAP anymore. She's like, I don't even need to even try, basically. Don't weigh me at the doctor's office, bitch. And that's wrong. And I don't like that. And so what irked me with me finding her was if you have sleep apnea, here's why you don't need to lose weight. That is false, and it's also dangerous. So this is dangerous behavior. This is why I was like, I need to cover her, because it's dangerous. Because somebody could save a ton of money, and somebody could save potentially their life. I'm not sure if anybody's died from OSA. However, I have had family members who were obese. I've actually had a couple of family members who have died in their sleep that were obese. And I'm not saying that the sleep, like the obese, like I'm not saying that's like the OSA, like the obstructive airway sleep apnea caused the death. But I'm wondering if it was, if it had a hand in it. Right? We'll never know until we get to the afterlife and talk to them and be like, yo, what happened? I totally forgot too that Alicia McCarville, if you guys don't know who Alicia McCarville is, I've talked about her in an episode. I've talked about her in an episode with Graphically Alex.
Like, no, like I'm not fat acceptance. Like, no, that's accepting of it.
Yeah,
no,
that's true.
I don't
That's
accept
true.
it. I don't accept obesity. So no.
Okay.
And you have to promote obesity to act like you're so happy in it, because it is a miserable experience. And so if you ignore the health issues involved with it, then you are automatically promoting it, in my opinion.
She is a Canadian influencer, and she's actually pretty well known for for being in an obese body, but having like this really hot husband. I think that's why she's well known. She's actually pretty funny. She's, entertaining, but she's also fat acceptance. She posted a video too of her with a CPAP. Here it is. Okay, she's doing a review of a CPAP. If you're looking to upgrade your current mask, ResMed has you covered, literally. I recently made the switch to AirTouch, and I am obsessed. Please remember that your sleep therapy is so important, and you owe it to yourself to stick to it.
A few CPAP girlies told me that the one reason why you discontinue your sleep treatment is because you have an uncomfortable mask. Last week, I posted a photo of me, this one up here, and I was wearing a new mask that I've been trying for the last 4 weeks. 4 weeks. So excited to introduce to you the F30i. This. As you can see already, the mouthpiece is a lot smaller than what my F20 was. You'll notice that it actually connects at the top of your head, which is new for me. So I can twist and turn and spin all around. Mouthpiece here has a super comfortable inside. So we're gonna try it on. I gotta get these off. Let's get this.
Oh, I was like, why are her arms so weird? I just realized. I was like, why are her arms so freaking weird right now? What is she holding it? It's her husband behind her.
Mouthpiece over my mouth and not my ass. Okay, we're upside down. We've got to take it off and try again. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yep. See? Really easy.
See, I think she's pretty entertaining. This isn't really spreading any information. She's just trying this new mask. But she did post a picture of her CPAP and people were like being super mean about it. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe it was just a carousel. Let's check. Oh, I think it was in a story. Hold on a second. Okay. Here it is. Sleep apnea pickup lines with ResMed. Dude, the way that she laughs was like, you are obstructed.
You must be my CPAP.
What?
Because I sleep better when you're with me. Oh, you must be sleep apnea. Because you take my breath
away.
How did you know that was coming?
That was too easy. But I won't kill you in your sleep.
Promise.
Promise.
Are you my positive airway pressure? Because you've got me wide open.
Wide open.
Jesus Christ. So she's funny. I think that she is funny. I think she's just living her life. I don't think she's spreading, like, clearly she's not spreading information like, you don't need to lose weight, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Not in this video, at least. But, it sucks to see somebody who, what am I trying to say? What are you trying to say? It sucks to see that this person has such a wonderful personality and it appears that her husband loves her a ton and she doesn't owe us a weight loss journey, but I would like to see her live longer because she is a little bit of a ray of sunshine, right? I would like to see her live a long time. And I don't think that she's headed that way with how large she is, and already she's got sleep apnea. Sure, she's got a CPAP, but damn, like CPAP is. I feel like when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to weight gain, a weight gain journey, like you start regular, you start you have your starting weight. Then you gain a little bit, you got to switch, you got to get bigger clothes, right? You got to bigger clothes. Then eventually you can't even get bigger clothes. You just have to do stretchy clothes and you need a CPAP. And then eventually you're just wearing
a sheet.
I feel like CPAP is a big step in a weight gain journey. And that's if CPAP is caused by an obstructive airway due to weight. I'm not talking about like thins who have sleep apnea. Like this is clearly obstructive airway because she is probably big. I don't know. Maybe she's always had it, but she was even kind of larger in her younger years. So if she had sleep apnea when she was in high school, she was still kind of not, she wasn't a straight sized gal, I don't think. Now I have a couple more things that I wanted to look at. All right, so I have a couple more reels that I want to look at. One of them was labeled Fat Person Survival Strategies. Now let's take a look here.
I am aware of
Okay, so it says here in the caption, a listener asked, is there something diety you can still do because it makes other forms of diet culture resistance easier? What? A listener asked, is there something diety you can still do because it makes other forms of diet culture resistance easier? We're wondering what still counts as dieting versus just fat person survival strategy. Tell us yours. And get this full conversation at Burnt Toast Podcast. And nobody commented. Are the comments turned off? Should I comment? Is there something diety you can still do because it makes other forms of diet culture resistance easier?
if I have to do blood work, or I am aware of if I have to do blood work or have a blood pressure reading, wanting to exercise that morning because I'm maybe it helps it be a little better and then they give me a less hard time at the doctor's office.
What? So you're gonna skew your results because you want to have a less, like, you don't want your doctor to tell you something that you don't really want to hear? Like, that's kind of dumb. Don't skew your results, you guys. Don't skew your results. If you really want to figure out how to fix your body, which clearly it doesn't seem like she really cares about the whole weight thing, but your health isn't a game. So when you go to the doctor's office and they're weighing you and they're checking your blood pressure, they're doing your blood work and stuff like that, you wouldn't want to skew those results because you're not really sure if you're going to be able to do the same exercise or if the exercise is going to have any kind of effect the next morning that you go and have, you go to a doctor's office. So what she is saying is that if she knows that she's going to have her blood pressure checked or blood work done, she exercises that morning to kind of make it seem a little bit better, like to give her a better result, which is not a good idea. So I have actually, when I was working on reversing my insulin resistance, which I did finally do, figured out that, or we achieved that last month, which was March. I remember one time I fasted. I'm a faster, a huge faster, if you're not familiar. I love fasting intermittently, but I also sometimes partake in some extended fasts. So I did an extended fast before my blood work, and that was just like not a good idea. Like, clearly, if you do an extended fast, like, your insulin levels are going to be lower, your blood sugar is going to be great, blah, 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 blah. So that was me skewing the results. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't go, I'm going to fast until I can get the result that I want. It just happened. It just happened that I was fasting. It just happened. But she is saying that she is willing to skew her results just so the doctor doesn't, tell her to lose weight. Oh, sorry, I forgot to move the caption out of the way.
Yeah, and I don't know
Not
if
a- is that a
I am aware of, like, if I have to do blood work or have a blood pressure reading, wanting to exercise that morning because I'm like,
Interesting.
maybe it helps it be a little better, and then they give me a less hard time at the doctor's office.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if
Is that a dieting behavior? I don't know.
I think it's more of like survival as a fat person behavior.
Yeah, that's survival. You're at a doctor's office. Like, that's survival of a fat person. So you're going to tell me if your doctor tells you that you need to lose weight, you're going to die basically right then and there? Be for fucking real, dude. Okay, so this is another thing from her podcast. It says vegan for 8 hours. Let's check this out. Who can relate? Blankety blank is on the Burnt Toast podcast today, talking about trash diet culture and her brilliant new book, Good Woman, listening anywhere you get your pods or link in bio.
Stopped dieting. It was because I had no choice. I mean, literally, I could not stay on a diet. I could maybe stick to Atkins for like a week, Weight Watchers for
Be nice. I'm finding it.
I've been in her shoes. I have been in her shoes, but it sounds like she's doing diets, like fad diets. Not that I'm saying Atkins is fad diet. Like, I actually know a lot of you are on Atkins or some kind of low carb. But the Weight Watchers thing is something that's temporary. I don't think people are on Weight Watchers their entire life. But it's technically calorie counting, and some people do have to count calories to maintain. It sounds like she only cared to do the diet and expected the diet to do the work for her, when in reality, it's a lifestyle change and you have to constantly work at it, right? If you feel like you can't upkeep the diet, it's not the diet that works for you, right? So the best diet is the diet that you will stick to. And that's usually an easy lifestyle change. Sometimes you can't just like jump into a diet or a way of eating or any kind of like lifestyle change. You kind of have to make small changes first, and then you can do the bigger stuff. So like, she shouldn't have just jumped into Atkins or jumped into Weight Watchers, because if you're like so used to eating like an asshole and you make this huge step into like not eating that way, you're going to feel a little bit of pain. You're going to feel like shit, kind of. Like, there is such a thing as like, you can get like a carbohydrate withdrawal. You know what I mean? Sometimes, and I only know how to speak for keto because I've been keto for years, but like when you first start keto, you kind of get this thing called the keto flu, and it's basically your body is like trying to figure out what fuel source to use, and it's not used to using keto, and it's missing the glucose and yada yada yada, and it hurts and you feel like shit and you get a headache and blah 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 blah. But after like a week of that, and your body starts burning ketones and it starts using ketones again, because a lot of people don't know this, but I think I read somewhere that babies are in ketosis like the first like 6 months of their life, but your body's finally like running on ketones, and then you start feeling like $1 million.
I feel like $1 million.
So she's the best thing for her would have been to just like remove sodas. That's an easy enough move, right? Remove sodas. And then after, she can stick to removing sodas, being like, I haven't had a soda in 6 months. Great. Then she can probably stop eating like candy. I'm not sure if she eats candy. I'm judging based off of what she looks like. Sugar. Maybe she could probably put it, somebody like I was in her shoes, right? I was in her shoes where I was like, I can't keep up with anything. Adding intermittent fasting was very helpful because that automatically puts you at a calorie deficit, unless you are like fringing when you finally eat, which that was an issue for me at one point, but I'm not, it's not like that anymore because I'm a badass.
Like 3 days, vegan for like 8 hours.
Okay. So you didn't try. That's not trying. If you could only do vegan for 8 hours, that's not even trying. How could you even say that on God's internet?
I mean, it was like muscle fatigue.
Damn, this Virginia lady really wants you to go to her podcast because I really kind of want, I hate that it's like a 10-second video. So her marketing is working. All right, let's watch some more reels of hers. I'm going to go down because she is very interesting to me.
Then to go
Oh, did she write a book? Good for her. Last week Fat Talk turned 1 and today I turned 43. This was from a year ago. Proud of both of us for surviving this absolute ride of a year. So she wrote a book. She also does these like fashion-y style challenges.
So, unflattering burnt toast style challenge starting today. I am working on
Oh, so the style is to wear something unflattering.
wearing my straight leg jeans, and I'm challenging myself in a couple ways. Challenging myself with tucking because I realized one of my stress points with tucking jeans is that if you have a round stomach, your button often doesn't lie flat. And I have in my head this rule that a button that does not lie flat on your jeans is some sort of enormous jeans/moral failing.
That's crazy. If you think that your button doesn't lie flat, there's some kind of a moral failing there. Again, I'm not a big fan of the whole morality with obesity thing. There's a little bit of nuance there. Like clearly, if you live in a gigantically morbid obese body and you have kids and you are shortening your life and therefore shortening the time that you have with your kids, I can kind of see that being like a moral failing. Or if like your kids have to take care of you and they're 5 years old. We've seen that video. If I can find it, I'll put it in.
Without him, I'd be lost. Because I just can't do it on my own.
But I don't see necessarily how having a pair of jeans where a button doesn't lie flat kind of gives you a moral failing. That's her opinion. That's her feeling. I guess her feeling is valid. But as far as like this outfit being unflattering, I don't think so. I think she just looks like a mom, which I guess that's unflattering in itself. I didn't mean it for that to come out that way, but like, I mean, we've said like I've looked like a mom when I was like 20 and I've put on shit like this. I feel like I look like a mom and I'm not a mom. You know what I mean? She looks like a mom and she probably is a mom. Maybe.
Honestly, if I wear this outfit out of the house, it's going to be with
I think she looks nice and I love a French tuck, but I am also a millennial.
Birkenstocks. It's a nice day.
Yeah, Birkenstocks would have been really cute. Those are not cute.
Those are comfortable. But in order to try and challenge a style.
But somebody might think that this is cute. Maybe somebody from like Newport Beach or something would be like, yes, I would wear this. Or someone from like the East.
One of my things is I feel like wider leg jeans need substantial.
This little palm that she has back here. Is it a palm? A puff? A poof? It looks like a roly-poly.
Shoes to balance them. So I am challenging.
I kind of like that mules are coming back. I don't really like a heeled mule. I like a flat mule.
By trying
unless it's like a platform mule, like a clog.
This with a narrow, I don't know, mule situation. I mean, like color-wise, it's cute, and it looks cute straight on. If I'm like, let me.
Okay, so she's doing fashion.
Okay, unflattering toe.
I think she looks like Chessie from what's it? The Parent Trap.
Challenge day 2. I am challenging myself to wear the straight leg jeans with denim on denim.
Denim on denim is a bold choice. Denim on denim is a bold choice. You guys, you really, really have to, you got to do it right. You got to do it right. And you kind of have to go out into the world with a little bit of like blasé, a little bit like, yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? It's got to look good, but it's also got to be like, not like you try too hard, which I think that this actually works, but I also think that it's too much. Like if you're gonna wear loose down here, it's got to be tight up here. I'm one of those people. But anyway, this isn't a fashion show. Let's watch more let's watch more fat acceptance bullshit. Honestly, I feel like she's been posting a lot recently, but I'm also very bored. She posted a lot recently. So a month ago she posted. Okay, happy Lindy West week to all who celebrate. Yes, we've got the Lindy West on the pod tomorrow. And yes, we're talking about her incredible new memoir, Adult Braces and Polyamory and Diet Culture and the Discourse. There's a Lindy West week? Who's Lindy West?
He's trading up for the thin woman. That's so many fat women's core fear of
Exactly.
like,
and I get it. That was my fear. But in retrospect, it doesn't make sense. If what you were waiting to do was upgrade, why would you not just leave me?
Exactly.
That's true. Honestly, I agree with that. If somebody, I think the message is why fear somebody leaving you. If they were going to leave you, they would have just left you. But also men do stick around until they find something better a lot, quite often, right? That is very interesting. It got me thinking.
People feel like they are barely holding their husband back from running off and being evil.
But if that's the case, there is divorce. You don't have to stay with that guy.
If you're worried about that,
yeah,
please get a divorce. You will love it.
It's so great.
It's so great.
Just because your body looks different doesn't mean your body looks bad. Just because you scrolled up in your camera roll and you used to look smaller doesn't mean the way that you look now is wrong. What if you celebrated all of the living that led to a bigger body? Because if you had never known anything but...
How do we celebrate a life that lived to, how would you celebrate the life that led to your bigger body? Let me know in the comments, because here's how I would have celebrated it. I would have celebrated the fact that I was drinking almost every night, alcohol. I would have celebrated the fact that I ate in secret quite often. Even in my marriage, I would eat in secret, or I'd have like 2 breakfasts, go out to eat, yada, yada, yada. I would have celebrated the fact that I would go to the emergency room as a food for migraines and eat an entire bag of Haribo gummies in the parking lot and not really realize until I saw that moment that it was bad. I would have celebrated that I used exercise as an excuse to eat whatever the hell I wanted. And I also would have celebrated the fact that I really just didn't care. I stopped caring. I would have celebrated that I gave up on my life. Yeah, that's really good advice. Let's celebrate what got us to be fat. So fucking stupid.
The way you are now, you would not be so hard on yourself. And I fear if we don't learn to love our bodies, even as they get bigger, as they change, we'll spend forever wishing away who we are.
Okay, so it's not inevitable that you're going to get fat. It's only inevitable that you're going to get fat if you eat like shit, right? Hormonal issues, of course, play into this. But there's this cope going around that like people, as you get older, you're just going to get fatter. So don't even try to eat healthy. Being fat is inevitable. Your body's going to change. So I get the love your body as it changes. I'm not telling anybody out there to hate their body just because they're fat, right? That's stupid. You know, you can't change being fat overnight, but you can be intelligent and realize like, hey, this is dangerous for me. Because why is excess adipose tissue dangerous? It's because it's hormonally active and it can cause, there's a list, and I'll post the list on here. Look at the screen of all the things, all the negative health effects that excess adipose tissue can put on your body, right? For me, excess adipose tissue did cause a hormonal shitstorm in my body, and I did get precancerous lesions inside my uterus, which could have been prevented had I known about like eating properly. But yeah, this whole thing, like
your body's gonna change as you get older, so like just love it where it's at.
Yeah, your body does change. Your hair gets grayer, you get wrinkles, love that part of aging. I think more people should appreciate like your body does age, and I am happy when I see the lines on my face. It means that I did laugh a lot, right? But how can I enjoy my life as an old person if I don't even get there? How can I enjoy when I'm 60, how will I enjoy my life if I can't even like really walk around or get out of bed? You know what I mean?
Because I know you didn't love the body you wish you could get back, did you? I know you've always wished to be different and wished to be smaller and wished to take up less space.
That actually is true. I feel like when I was living in the quote unquote TR, when I was struggling with beating recorders, even when I was like at my thinnest, I was like, I could be thinner, you know? And now that I'm a grown up and my fucking frontal lobe has developed, I can understand like what's healthy and what's not healthy. And once I get to a healthy weight, I think I'll be like, okay, I'm done. You know, even like right now, I'm like, I think I'm done, but no, like, you need to lose more weight, Robin, just to be healthy, right? Just to be healthy.
And you've always scrolled back to old photos and wished to go back in time, but you can't. You cannot go back in time. And if you don't learn to stop being ashamed of your body today, well, that will be the biggest shame of all. Because time will not stop for you to give you more days to hate yourself. It will keep passing and you will keep wishing you took new photos instead of fixating on old ones. And
Yeah, I will say this, you guys, even if you're like, I'm ugly and I'm fat and I don't want to take pictures, blah, 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 blah. One of the things I regret is not taking as many pictures as I could have, even when I was fat. I feel like we missed out on a lot of memories, but you know, lesson learned. I do take a lot more pictures. Here's pictures of me on Easter. In the arms of an angel. In the arms of an angel. Some comfort here.
you'll wish you spent more time in bathing suits feeling the water against your skin.
Oh, one thing I never stopped wearing was two-piece bathing suits, even when I was like at my biggest, because I like to get a lot more sun everywhere, basically. Yeah, you won't find me in a one piece, you guys. I'll wear a high-waisted bathing suit, but I'm not gonna wear a one piece. Me just like to get the sun.
And less time worrying what you looked like while you did it. Just because your body has changed doesn't mean your body is bad. You have to believe me, because you're running out of time to enjoy your beautiful body. Just because.
Okay. All right. So what did you guys think? That was Virginia Soul Smith. I do think I may cover a couple episodes of her podcast just because I feel like she has some interesting things. However, the vibes that I was getting as I was doing a little bit more like deep dive into her page, I was like, oh, this is kind of political and I'm not sure if I want to go there. I just need to get to the fat acceptance nonsense. But the main thing was pointing out that she is sharing misinformation about sleep apnea, and the reason why it bothers me is because all the men in my family have suffered from sleep apnea. And although my dad got it because he was obese, my brothers, they weren't obese. If the science even says, like, even if the science was like it would only reduce your OSA, your obstructive sleep apnea, by 30%, I feel like that's worth the try to lose the weight. And she is so, like, I want to say obsessed with being obese and not losing weight that she wouldn't even try it. She's totally fine wearing this giant thing on her face. Okay. But telling people, you know, well, the science doesn't really say that Zepbound will help 100%, blah, 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 blah. It's not 100%, so you really don't need to do it. Like, why would you try to even sway somebody against like helping themselves? I feel like if you were an advocate for people and you want like people of size to like live, wouldn't you be like, hey, this, you know, I wouldn't personally do this, but like they say that it's 30% or whatever the percentage was. Like if you lose weight, it will help you with your OSA. Maybe give it a try. I feel like that's, you know, but I feel like that's a great idea. But I feel like a lot of, especially leaders in the fat acceptance community, are like, they think that promoting weight loss is unethical. Some people believe that promoting any kind of weight loss is unethical, even if promoting weight loss to remove the obstruction from your airway. Even if that promoting of weight loss would help you remove the obstruction to your airway, that's still technically unethical. Again, I acknowledge that sleep apnea does not only affect obese people. We read together that 60% of people with OSA are obese. So it's another correlation thing, just like with the with type 2 diabetes. So it's like, well, correlation doesn't cause causation. But like if you see that many people and you've noticed that when they lose weight that they kind of like it relieves the OSA, I think it's a safe bet to be like that's kind of proof. Almost proof. Not 100% proof, but like a good scientific guess that losing weight will help with your sleep apnea. So that's why she was on the list. That's why I saved her page, because I was like, that seems dangerous. If you are obese and you have sleep apnea, try to lose weight. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So let me know if you guys made it this far in the episode. Please leave a gas. Is there a gas mask on? Is there a gas mask emoji? Let's try it. Okay, there's no gas mask emoji, but leave me a snorkel. Leave me a snorkel because you need to breathe. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. If you haven't already, go ahead and like the video. And if you liked the video, please consider giving me a subscribe if you liked me. And yeah, don't forget, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Goodbye.